When you hear that theme song, you know what it is. It's all about the UEFA Champions League, Europe's biggest club competition, and that's what every club jostles for in terms of European glory. And we'll delve into it right about now. As I said earlier on the show, it begins today, the 6th of September. Yes, starting earlier than usual, and that's because we have an unusual World Cup taking place in the winter. Now, UEFA and the European Club Association have agreed on a new format from 2024. When the Champions League will be expanded to 36 teams and do away with the existing 6-game group phase. Each team will instead play 8 fixtures each before the knockout round, meaning the competition will feature a total of 189 matches, up from 125. That is the current number of matches. Well, let's review the commercial aspect of things for each team. Now we'll start with Group E, and it's all about AC Milan, talking about Champions League football. For AC Milan, they are now owned by Redbird Capital Partners, with the chief executive being Ivan Gazidis. A stadium of 80,000 capacity, talking about San Siro Stadium, and the kit supplier for AC Milan is Puma in a deal worth 30 million euros per year. That extension was signed in 2022, that's earlier this year, and will expire in 2028. Now for AC Milan, the main sponsor of the club is the Emirates, which has a 10 million euros per year deal, and the extension was signed in 2020. That deal would expire next year, 2023. Regarding sleeve sponsorship, you have BitMEX sponsoring AC Milan, although the value of that deal is not known, but it is a multi-year deal signed in 2021, while the duration has not been reported. For training kit partner, AC Milan are tied up with Konami on a 45 million euros deal signed earlier this year as well, and the duration of that deal is for 7 years. The club has a social media following of about 48.3 million. Well, let's move away from there quickly and delve to Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea will also be in action today, and they're now owned by the Todd Boehly-led consortium, with the president of business being Tom Glick. And the stadium, Stamford Bridge, has 41,000 capacity, but that talks about increasing that. Now, concerning sponsorship deals for Chelsea Football Club, the kit supplier is Nike, with a deal worth £900 million. That deal was signed in 2016 and will expire in 2032. In other words, the deal is worth, the duration of 16 years. Now, the main sponsor for the club is Three. That's the telecommunications firm that signed a £40 million per year deal way back as of 2020. That deal will expire next year. For sleeve sponsorship, Chelsea signed a deal with Wilfin worth £20 million per year. It was signed earlier this year. The duration is not known. And for training kit partner, it's Trivago. The value of that deal is not known as well, but that deal was signed last year, and we'll see how that pans out for Chelsea Football Club. The club has a huge following of 111.3 million people. Now let's move away from there. Still talking Group E, let's talk RB Salzburg. They'll be in action against AC Milan today. The owner is Red Bull's group managing director, and the chief executive is Stefan Reiter. The stadium, the Red Bull Arena, has a capacity of 31,000. Its kit supplier is Nike. The value of that deal is not known, but that deal was signed in 2014 and will expire in 2024. They have Red Bull as the main sponsor, but they also have a sleeve sponsorship deal with Roche, signed for 2.1 million euros per year, and that deal will take place till next year. Now, the training partner is not known, but the social media following is about 877,000. We'll just have to put a pause to that in terms of these clubs and their commercial guide. We'll continue with that tomorrow. We'll have to delve into the match itself proper, talking about UEFA Champions League matches for tonight. And tonight we have Real Madrid kicking off their title, the Friends, and that will be against Celtic Football Club right there in Scotland. For Real Madrid, defending champions, you look at the stats and you know that it favors Real Madrid to get the victory, although Celtics are also on a very brilliant run of form, especially the 4-0 demolition of arch rivals Rangers over the weekend. So it will be an entertaining game, but when you look at the form of Benzema, Vinicius Jr., you can't look past Real Madrid to get this. So in terms of betting tips, you can be assured that Real Madrid will nick this. The scoreline I can't predict, but if I'm to bet, I will definitely predict Real Madrid to go for a win. Again, these predictions are not based on one crystal ball somewhere. It's simply as a result of the team's quality and the performance over the last few games leading to this particular game. So Real Madrid against Celtic, I give it to Real Madrid to nick that. Well, still talking the Champions League, we have to now look at the game in Sevilla Seville, and that's Sevilla against Manchester City. Now, this is a huge one. It's probably the biggest match of the night, considering how formidable both sides are. Manchester City definitely going in as the favorites, but you have Sevilla as well right there at home, looking to respond from that 3-0 bashing they suffered in the hands of Barcelona over the weekend. For Manchester City, it's not really been that dominant season that they would have expected in terms of a start to a season. They've dropped points, against Newcastle United away from home, which was quite decent. They also dropped points over the weekend against Aston Villa. So they'll be needing a response from Pep Guardiola's men, and let's see how that will come out. It doesn't get any trickier or sterner in terms of test than playing Sevilla away from home. It's Sevilla against Manchester City. It's difficult to call this one, but if I'm to predict, I would definitely go for more than a goal scored in that match. In other words, the scoreline could be 2-0, 3-0, 1-1, whatever it is, but you want to fancy that both sides will either get a goal or at least more than a goal will be scored in the match. Over 1.5, you want to call it that. Let's move away from there and look at Chelsea. Yes, Chelsea will also be in action, but just before Chelsea, let's talk PSG. Yes, Paris Saint-Germain, those are the big money spenders. Lionel Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, all in the mix. And this time around, they will be playing Juventus for Angel Di Maria. It's a homecoming. And remember, he left PSG for Juventus over the summer. So he will be returning to Parc des Princes to take on his former club. PSG against Juventus, that is definitely another match to watch. On paper, you want to tip, PSG based on form, while for Juventus, they're just trying to get back into rhythm. But the addition of Alexander Milik is definitely, a good addition to the attacking threat of, Juventus. But you expect Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi to lead the lineup, considering how the three have started in terms of goals. Neymar, 7 goals in the French league, or Mbappe, the same thing. Messi having more assists than any player in Europe's top 5 leagues. You want to fancy PSG edging Juventus on this one. So if I have to predict, I'll definitely go for PSG to win over Juventus. The scoreline is difficult to tell, but PSG should get this one. Let's look at Chelsea, in action as well. Chelsea against Dinamo Zagreb. For Chelsea Football Club, the results have been inconsistent. Even the performance, they were lucky to get a victory against West Ham, but this time around it's the Champions League, and the Champions League has a different spirit, as it were. So you would expect Chelsea to kickstart their season on a winning note, but at the very least, a draw should be obtainable for Chelsea Football Club. I do not see Dinamo Zagreb winning, so I tip Chelsea to either win or draw. The number 2 seed has been knocked out, and that was shocking, as American-owned boy Francis Tiafoe knocked him out in 4 sets. 6-4, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3. That ended as the American homeboy went home with a victory. For Nadal, it is his first loss this year in the Grand Slam event. Remember, he won the Australian and French Open titles and had to withdraw from Wimbledon semi-final as a result of an abdominal muscle injury. So it's not the 3rd Grand Slam of the year for Rafael Nadal, but it has to be a dominant season for him, considering he's won 2 of 4 Grand Slam titles. For Tiafoe, he makes it into the quarterfinals. His first time, hitting the heights at the US Open, and what a performance it was. Won the first set 6-4. Rafael Nadal had to take a medical timeout that lasted 8 minutes to have his wrist strapped due to an injury there, but he bounced back to claim the second set in stunning fashion before drawing the third. And in the final set, or the 4th set as it were, you had Nadal leading by 3-1 before Tiafoe strung 5 successive games to take that set and decidedly the match itself. So it is Rafael Nadal being dumped out of the title race, while you have Tiafoe making it to the quarterfinals. Carlos Alcaraz, who you saw earlier with that stunning drop shot, is also through to the quarterfinals. It will be intriguing to see how this pans out. In the women's category, the singles event now, you had top golfer or top tennis player, Iga Swiatek, also making it through to the quarterfinals, although she had to do that recovering from a set and a breakdown. 2-6, 6-4, 6-1 that ended for her against Julie Nemera. And for the world number 1, it was quite a difficult start, but she was able to get her bearing in the second set and made it count in the third to book her place in the quarterfinals. It is also a maiden quarterfinal appearance for Swiatek at the US Open, and she will be looking to win her 7th title of the year, having won 6 on the trot and stronger 37-match winning streak as well. She'll be taking on Jessica Pegula, that's the American superstar, in the quarterfinals. Other quarterfinal fixtures, you have Karolina Pliskova against Arina Sabalenka. You also have Coco Gauff against Caroline Garcia, and the final quarter fixture has to do with African top-ranked player Ons Jabeur against Tom Ljubanovic. That would be intriguing, talking about the setup itself. Well, let's move away from there now and talk about motorsports, and it has to be about the MotoGP. Yes, the MotoGP has signed a deal with Saudi Arabia to stage a race at the kingdom, and this is coming despite concerns about human rights record of Saudi Arabia itself. Now, the future race will be held on a newly constructed multi-purpose circuit, and the venue for that has not been decided yet. But in the coming days, it will be disclosed. Now, it must be said that this isn't the first race in that region, as MotoGP has a Grand Prix at Qatar. So Saudi Arabia is also joining the mix. Again, it just broadens Saudi Arabia's scope of making it count in terms of sports investment across various sports. Again, it also brings to the limelight the issue of sports washing, especially for human rights concerns and human rights records right there in Saudi Arabia. Well, let's move away from there and talk a bit of golf, and it has to do with the controversy that has erupted following the revealing of the nominees for the PGA Tour Player of the Year. Now, you have 3 players that have been shortlisted for that award. You have Rory McIlroy, who is coming off, the FedEx Cup victory. You have world number 1 Scotty Scheffler and world number 2 Cameron Smith. Now, for Cameron Smith, that's where the controversy lies. This is coming just about 3 days after, it decamped from the PGA Tour, or defected, as it were, from the PGA Tour to the controversial 54 Golf Series, backed heavily by Saudi Arabian fund, and the questions regarding why it should be, among the short list of nominees for the title, considering he is no longer participating on the tour. But for the players, you have to look at it. Cameron Smith, right there on your screen, won the Masters, and he won 4 titles this year, as well as being world number 1. For Rory McIlroy, he won 3 titles: the CJ Cup, the Canadian Open, as well as the Tour Championship, which guaranteed him the FedEx Cup victory just over a week ago. And Cameron Smith won the Open as well as the Tournament of Champions. So it's a tight finish. It's difficult to tell who gets this, but you know that this is an award decided by votes, and it's fellow professional golfers that will be deciding the winner. Players who have played nothing less than 15 FedEx Cup competitions will be the ones to vote to decide who the best player is. For Rory McIlroy, he's won it 3 times, in 2012, in 2014, as well as 2019. Can he make it a record 4th? It's yet to be seen, but the Jack Nicklaus Award is definitely one to fight for.